Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for July 2025. This is going to be your bonus reading, and we are going to jump right in here. You have this meditate and contemplate card, and also this look at this full moon in Sag. It says look at the big picture. So it is an amazing time, I think, to look at the big picture, and I feel like you're kind of like, the feeling I get here is that you're closer to a finish line than you think. So if you've been like trying to wrap something up, or if you've been trying to accomplish something and putting the work in, then I do feel that is kind of like saying you are actually closer than you think to your goal. And so don't give up now is kind of what that is saying. The meditate and contemplate card, it says new moon in Pisces. And one thing I will say is that we are in a very intuitive time. And I almost feel like there are like... It's almost like there are solutions to like whatever you've been dealing with, and I feel like these could be solutions that you get from like meditation. Like, you know, that could be where the answers are coming from, or going for a walk or doing whatever you can to get out of your head. You know, I would be taking the time to do those things, or those activities that get you out of your head, because that's where you're going to get a lot of good answers. You have the Five of Cups in your current general energies. In a Celtic cross, this is how you are entering into the energy of the Celtic cross. So you might be entering into the rest of this month a little bit disappointed. You know, he is grieving the loss of something that he no longer enjoys, but he has these two cups right here. I always say the solution to this card is gratitude. And it's funny that he has two cups behind him, and then your crossing energy is the Two of Cups. So it's like literally you are focusing on something that you don't want. And there is something that you will want that is a perfect match for you, but it's almost like you have to let go of something this month. So it's pretty clear to me that right when you watch this reading, that if you are disappointed about anything, it doesn't have to be love, even though the Two of Cups definitely could be love. It could be anything. And I think that once you let something go that you know you don't want any longer, that you will definitely be getting something that you do want. You know, he has, again, these two cups behind him, and he definitely wants those two cups. Those two cups are a perfect match to his situation. Also, they lead to this bridge in the castle. So he gets more than just the two cups. So I would be practicing gratitude at this time as well. Your crossing energy is the Two of Cups. So again, the crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. Now, the reason you're probably not seeing the Two of Cups is because it looks different, right? The whole point of the Two of Cups is that these two people are meant to look very different. And usually in love, the Two of Cups can represent a person who's different than your usual type that you're attracting into your life. But in this situation, I feel like this could be anything that you're entering into this month disappointed about. And, you know, it could be a job, business, whatever. And I feel like you need to realize that something that might look different is actually closer to what you want than you realize. That's kind of what I feel here for you, Sagittarius. Like, you know, again, maybe you lost your job and you're looking for another one. But maybe the universe is trying to get you to go in a different direction that you haven't thought of yet. And so I do feel this card is kind of like encouraging a little bit of flexibility. I also feel like it's saying that you know. It's like, I really don't have a good example for you, Sagittarius, but I would like look at your life. You have this card that says, look at the big picture. It's like, I think there are a lot of clues that if you were to look back on your life, the clues would add up to whatever you're about to do in your life. I'll give you an example. Before I started this channel, over 10 years ago now, I have been learning tarot for many years, since I was young, right? I've always been into weird stuff. I started learning astrology when I was very young as well, because my grandma, she told me, is the one who introduced me to astrology, right? And so I started learning that stuff at a very young age. I was always into weird stuff. Before I had that channel, I had another channel. Also before that, I was literally working in marketing, and I was doing a ton of video at the time, and I was getting comfortable on video, right? So it's like before I started this channel, there were a bunch of clues that I should have done this channel, but I didn't realize it at the time, right? It didn't like pop into my head until I actually started the channel. And it really was my mom who told me to start the channel, right? And so someone else had to tell me to do it, but it's like, it was never on my radar. It was never, this was never something I was going to do. And look at me now, right? It's ended up being something that I definitely do. So that's like what I feel for you with the Five of Cups and the Two of Cups. It's like, there's something that I think, like, looking back on it in the future, you'll be like, oh my God, this was so obvious that I was gonna, be this thing when I grew up, or I was gonna work on this thing, but it like wasn't immediately obvious. So again, I would look at the big picture, like what are the consistent themes in your life? Like again, I think that's the easiest way to do it. If even like 12 years ago, if I had thought about this and I looked at the consistent themes, again, all these things would have added up, right? I would have been able to probably put it together into this channel. So I probably could have gotten here much sooner, right? And that's definitely the feeling I get here on the Two of Cups. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the Hierophant. You're definitely smart enough. You definitely know enough to do this here, Sagittarius, whatever it is you're about to do. The Hierophant, especially in the area of the mind, he is the teacher. But the Hierophant, he kind of gets his information from heaven. He's able to take messages from heaven, and he's able to communicate them into the world, to the people of the world. And I feel like you are able to communicate with the people of the world with this Hierophant energy. And that's definitely what I would be doing with this card. He's also kind of like a thinking outside the box energy as well. So again, maybe that's what you need to do. It's like maybe if I connected the dots years ago, I would have said to myself, oh, I could be a tarot reader, and I would have done it locally, right? Instead of thinking outside the box and using YouTube, right? So again, I think this is saying like, don't just settle on that first idea. Like, think about how you can branch it out and how you can think a little bit outside the box. I also am getting like, don't be afraid of being unconventional. He is very conventional, right? The Hierophant. The Hierophant isn't necessarily a bad card. I don't think he is bad in your reading. I just think he's saying to you, don't be afraid of being unconventional, right? There are going to be people who don't like you, who don't like what you do, and all that other stuff, but that's part of life, right? And so don't be afraid of like going against the grain. Don't be afraid of being a black sheep. It's like, really, when you think about it, the black sheep in life, those are the only people that matter, right? Because they do things that are unconventional, and they're the only people that stand out. So don't be afraid of standing out. Next, in your foundation, you have the Queen of Pentacles. I do like the Queen of Pentacles, for money. It's kind of like this is offering you a lifeline is what I'm getting, or like a certain level of security this month financially. I think things are like fine. I don't think things are mind-blowingly amazing, but I definitely feel that you could be just, things are moving along nicely financially. I do feel you could be discovering a lot of things that will make making money like a little bit easier. Again, I have to stress that of course, it's not going to be perfect. And I'm not saying this is going to be easy. I'm just saying it's going to be easier. And so I would pay attention to anything new that you can learn about in regards to your finances with this Queen of Pentacles. I just feel like a lot of ideas that could be very good for like, getting more out of the work that you do, which I'm also a big fan of right now. So I would pay attention to that. Next, in the area of your past or the energy that you're moving past, you have this electric eel spirit, says bring your ideas to life. You have this giraffe spirit, says see the big picture, right? So I feel for a lot, like, are you kidding me? I didn't even notice that. You have two cards that both say look at the big picture and see the big picture. Like, are you kidding, Sagittarius? That is crazy. So it is clearly time for you to zoom out on your life. It is clearly time for you to bring your ideas to life. Really, you have the Star. The Star kind of is a card of bringing your ideas to life, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, definitely, if you have any ideas, especially if they're big picture ideas, it's time to make your move. There you go. Next, also, I should say, in the past or the energy of what you're moving past, you have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords can represent a separation or walking away from things that no longer serve you. So I feel a lot of you could be walking away from things that no longer serve you with the Five of Swords. And some of you maybe are dealing with a heartbreak still, because in your future position, you have the Three of Swords. Five of Swords definitely can be a little bit uncomfortable, but luckily it's coming up in the area of what you are moving past, so I really don't think it's that big of a deal, Sag, but, it could be something you're thinking about. Sometimes I do think we, go through some sort of heartbreak. It doesn't even have to be with, love. It could be a person like family or something like that. And, it can just take a little bit longer to heal from, right? And that's kind of the energy I get with that Five of Swords. Next, in the area of the very near future, you have this Breathe In. It says practice breath work today. You have this Find Your Haven card. It says there's a place of wonder just waiting for you to find it. Yes, I kind of feel you're creating your own haven, your own special place on Earth. And, I think that would be an amazing activity for you. You have the world showing up here. So you have the world with a star on top of it. It's like literally... the star with the world can represent you bringing a dream down to Earth, or like manifesting some sort of wish on Earth, which I think would be great, Sagittarius. You have the Three of Swords also in the area of the very near future. The Three of Swords can represent a separation or sadness or, walking away from something. But the Three of Swords is temporary. The Three of Swords is also a card of forgiveness. I definitely feel out of all the signs, Sagittarius has had to deal with like the most forgiveness, or, maybe you feel like you've been required to forgive a lot more than other people, which is probably true. So I feel that, there has been a lot of forgiveness going on in your life that you've been dealing with. And I don't know. It's like part of me feels like you're going to continue doing this. Part of me feels like you have the Star here. The Star kind of says that you are finally healing. So, with the Three of Swords, we don't have to forgive a person directly. We just have to forgive them in our heart, and then we move on. So, I'm wondering if that Star card, I'm not sure yet because we're not there yet, but I'm wondering if the Star is kind of saying you're finally getting to the end of a healing journey, which would be great. Next, in the area of your outcome row, you have this Day and Night card. It says there's current disharmony due to existing differences in some matter. Three of Swords, Five of Swords. Again, I wouldn't, part of me feels like the magnet thing. If you take two magnets and you try to push them together and either they connect, right, or they resist, right? I would be paying attention to magnets in your life. There are some people where it's just like resistance, right? Those people, I would kick their ass out the door. The people where there's actually a connection, and we're not just talking about love here, we're talking about everything. The people that actually support you, those are the people that I would keep in your life. Plain and simple. We have a very stubborn energy, and we have Mercury going retrograde in Leo. Mars last year went retrograde into Leo, and that lasted all this year, into this year as well. Not all this year, but into this year. And very stubborn energy, right? But the thing is that sometimes I think there are lessons that the universe is teaching people, and it's like the people who can't learn those lessons, like, it might sound cold-hearted, but it's like sometimes we just have to get rid of those people. Because it's like the universe has given us all the tools to learn how to be flexible over the past, couple of years. And now it's like if there are people who are being a pain in the ass in your life, maybe you just have to get rid of them, right? But also, again, I think you could be overcoming a lot of issues. Over the next few months, you have the World, which I really love because I feel for a lot of you that you feel like you have the whole world in your hands. Again, I want to stress that I don't think things are perfect for you, but the World can be a very good card of manifestation. She has two wands. One wand's like the Magician's wand. One wand is like a wand of creation where she takes action to create. I feel just like a little bit better, like as in you feel to me like you feel that you can create things a little bit easier. And again, I'm not saying like super easy, but I do feel that, if you set your mind to things, that you will be accomplishing those things very, relatively easily. There will always be obstacles, but it just feels a little bit better. So I definitely feel that you could be kind of like designing your own world right now, or you could feel like you have the whole world in your hands. I also do feel there could be an accomplishment because, again, you have this card. It says, a triumph will bring great change. Let yourself be open to victory. The World can be an accomplishment, an achievement. It can be the end of something as well. But it's like a positive ending. So definitely some sort of achievement. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Star. Definitely a lot of healing going on in your closest relationships, which you've been dealing with for a couple of years now. And so I think healing would be a good idea. The Star is amazing for attention, and we're in an amazing time of attention, so, you could be getting a lot of attention. Also, by the way, we have this bird here. The bird is the ibis, and the bird can represent getting a bird's eye view or looking at the big picture. So you have, like, at least 3 cards here that really would represent getting a bird's eye view on everything that you're doing. And, sometimes putting things into perspective can make your life easier. I always say, I think it's a good thing to look at all the things you've accomplished because, if you're about to do something hard in your life and you look at your past accomplishments, it can make it a lot easier. You can say, I've accomplished so many other things that would be so much harder, and I've been able to get those things done, so this should be easy, right? And so I think a lot of you could be really thinking like that. You could be overcoming a lot of accomplishments or, thinking about past accomplishments to make new ones easier. I also feel pretty good about love here, even though we don't have a ton of love cards. Again, the Star is great. Sorry, wrong camera. The Star is great for getting attention from other people or, standing out with other people. You have the Queen of Swords in the area of your future feelings. Queen of Swords is clear for the first time, and we do have a Mercury retrograde this month on the 17th or the 18th, depending on where you are in the world, until the 12th of August. And, retrogrades can bring, people only think of them as confusing, but really retrogrades bring great clarity, especially from things from the past, right? So, and this retrograde in particular seems to be one that is bringing a lot of clarity to a lot of things. So I don't know, you could just be getting a ton of clarity from a lot of things that you've been dealing with in your life, and I feel pretty good about that. Your outcome is the Four of Swords, so like I said, I think it would be an amazing month for healing for you. Three of Swords, Star, anything you could do to heal would be a good idea. I also think it would be an amazing time for you to ask for what you want. He's hoping and praying for blessings. There's a person blessing another person in this window. So if there are any blessings that you want and desire in your life, I would get those blessings because they'll probably be very helpful for you or very good for you. Plain and simple. With the Five of Cups and the Two of Cups, you have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands out with the old, in with the new. We literally said that with the Five of Cups, that you're like kicking something out or you're letting go of something and finding something much better to have in your life. The problem is that, we could be very attached to this castle. This castle in the background of the Ace of Wands is meant to look like it's crumbling because it is. So a lot of you could be letting go of something that is crumbling. One thing I will say as well here, Sagittarius, is like, don't wait. It's kind of popping into my head that maybe the universe has been giving you a lot of warnings. Like, maybe the universe is warning you that your job isn't going to last forever or, whatever. And I'm not don't panic or anything like that. I feel like you're getting a lot of warnings. Like there will be a lot of warnings that something is happening. But there's something popping into my head here where it's like saying, pay attention. If it seems like your job or like if it seems like everybody's going to get fired in the future, or if you have a feeling or a gut instinct, I feel like this is saying like, don't wait to start looking or creating new opportunities because it looks like an amazing time for you to create amazing opportunities for yourself in the world with the World card, right? So I kind of get that feeling where it's saying like, don't wait. With the Hierophant, you have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I think you need to get out of your head, number one. It's like you're saying to yourself, I'm never going to get what I want. But I think you're being this is like a little bit of stinking thinking going on here, Sag. So like I said, I would get out of your head. Five of Pentacles is, calling attention to your weaknesses. Five of Pentacles has a very easy solution. We just have to focus on our strengths. And as long as we do that, we will be successful. So I feel like you need to really make sure you're focusing on what you're good at and not what you're not good at. And if you do that, things will go well. I also think that you could be a little bit trapped, like feeling with the Five of Pentacles, but you're really not. Five of Pentacles in the area of what's on your mind with money. This right here is meant to represent an anchor. It kind of looks like an anchor, those Five Pentacles. So with the Hierophant, it can say you're just thinking too much inside the box financially. You need to think outside the box. Like I said, connect the dots. I think that will be the best solution for you. Here you go. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Swords. Yes, Seven of Swords is about doing things in a different way. So Seven of Swords, he's stealing these swords from an army in the background, and so he's going to war, but in a different way. And I think that's what will help you the most financially, is doing things differently. He also has those polka dots on his cloak, so I would, be careful of taking things too seriously. That's the whole point of the Seven of Swords with the polka dots, is that he could be taking something too seriously when he should be more playful. And, I definitely feel that's going to be true for you with that Seven of Swords. So there you go. With the Five of Swords, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is like a quick success or a quick conclusion. But, I feel like you are picking a direction is what's popping into my head for you, Sag. It's like the Five of Swords, you're finally walking away from something. The Eight of Wands, all those wands are pointing in one direction. It seems to me like the Five of Swords saying you're cutting out the people, the places, and the things that are not moving in one direction or not in alignment with what you truly want in life. That's all I ever ask people to do. If everybody did this, they would be ridiculously successful. If you just cut out the junk, right? And we don't even have to be perfect. I think we only have to be like 51% to the positive or 51% to the right direction. As long as we do that, we will get what we want very easily. With the Three of Swords, you have the Four Cups. Four Cups can represent, again, like I got these words on that Five of Pentacles. It was saying to me that you're fearing that you're never going to get what you want. The Four Cups, same thing. He has these 3 cups here. He's been disappointed 3 times before. He's being offered this new cup, but he's not accepting it. He just has to apply what he learned to this new cup. The other feeling I get for you here, Sag, and I'm not trying to be clickbaity, but I feel like there's something better than you expect coming in for you. It's like you are, like the universe wants more for you, but you have to accept it. And, I kind of feel like that's going to be the trick with the Four Cups, is you have to say yes to this. So say yes to that Four Cups. With the world, you have the sun. Yes, amazing. You have the sun and the star, which is amazing for attention and standing out. The sun is the best card in the deck. So I feel that over the next many months that you will be getting a lot of attention. I think all fire signs are. The other thing I would be focusing on, Sagittarius, is ease. He's carrying this banner here, and he's carrying that banner very easily. He's not struggling to carry that big flag. And that's the whole point of the sun. Is the sun says there are like hard ways and easy ways to do basically everything that you want to do in life. And it says pick the easy way. Don't make life so hard on yourself, right? And if you do that, things will go very well. But very good like happy-go-lucky energy there as well. With the star, you show up as the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is your card. So, as always, whenever you show up as yourself, that puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. The Wheel of Fortune also says that you could be changing your own fortunes. Like the things that you are doing are changing your fortunes in life, which is amazing. So whatever you're doing, I would keep doing it. I also feel like luck is on your side more, which we've been talking about with you for a few months because, you had Jupiter in your opposite sign. It's since moved on, but, it doesn't really matter. You could still be benefiting from that Jupiter having been in Gemini. Also, we will have Uranus in Gemini, which definitely is going to mix up your daily routine, but I think it's going to mix up your work and your daily routine, which we've talked about in this reading already. But I think you need to realize how fortunate this is going to be for you. I think it's going to be really good for you personally, just based off of that and based off of some of the other astrology that's going on as well. I think it's going to be really good. So I like it. With the Queen of Swords, you have the King of Swords. Yeah, of course you do. These two are divine counterparts, but I don't really like the King and Queen of Swords together because they're two people who don't see eye to eye. But what I would say is I do feel this, number one, this really isn't a love reading, but if you want love, I feel this is saying you need to open up to the potential for love. Like you need to see that there is love available to you, or there is a person that is available to you. Maybe you just need to open up to it. I think that some of you will. Sometimes I think that these two are just two people who aren't talking yet. And so I do feel you could be attracting a person where either you just haven't met them yet or you just haven't talked to them yet, but maybe you're aware of who they are. I also feel like this could be you. I feel some of you are going from the Queen of Swords to the King of Swords. Queen of Swords, it's like she is finally gaining knowledge and wisdom. Like she has clouds only halfway up her body, so she's seeing clearly. But the King of Swords has the most knowledge and wisdom out of any of the kings. So he just knows things. I kind of get that feeling for you, Sagittarius, where it's almost like you just know. I feel like saying you're about to always be right in the future. It's like maybe over the past many months you have gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom, or you've been through a lot of situations that have like required you to learn a lot. And I don't know, I see like a lot of benefits coming from that. With the Four of Swords, you have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, Queen of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. She has to move towards the sun, right? She has that sunflower. She's also my card of learning as you go. And so a lot of people get her nowadays. We're definitely in a time where we have to learn as we go. You can't make this one up. You have this card that says, pay attention to your work. I was saying something about you need to pay attention to something. With that Ace of Wands, I can't remember exactly where I said it, but definitely I would, make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing. Make sure you're not making any mistakes. It is Mercury retrograde, so, any important work or any important, tasks that you're doing, I would make sure to double check, but, there you go. You have this bowl that says plenty of material things. Yeah, money looks good. I mean, this could be why you need to pay attention. It's like sometimes I think readings basically say pay attention because there's actually an opportunity that you will see if you pay attention. So I would make sure that you are paying attention to what you're doing and paying attention to all the things that you're working on and all that other good stuff. You have this broom. It says new home, new attitude. Yeah, anything you can do to change up your environment would be a good idea. A lot of people get this right now because we are in a time of our environment where if we improve our environment or we make our environment better in some way, I think things will go a lot better for us, and that's what I would do here. You have this grapes card that says time to go out and have fun. Yes, I'm a big fan of socializing, celebrating, doing nice things for yourself. You have the Eight of Wands in the past. Even though it's coming up in the past, it's still a card of celebration, and it's a card of socializing. So I would get out there and socialize. I think that really the universe wants us to fill our fun bucket, wants us to have more fun, wants us to enjoy ourselves more. So the more you do that, the better. You have the staff. It says you will be taken care of in difficult times. Yep, wouldn't even worry about it if there's craziness going on around you, because clearly you will be taken care of. But this is pretty straightforward as always, Sag. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.